Hi guys, welcome to another Blender tutorial here on Active TV. And while you're at it, give us a rumble, give us a like, give us fire, hit that plus sign if you're on rumble, because we are about to break out on a glass texture right here. So in my previous tutorial, I did this awesome glass over here. Alright, I took the liberty of filling it up with liquid, but we're not going to look at that right now, so I'm going to hide that. But I might make it visible just to show you the effects of the glass. Okay, so the first thing to take note here is that putting on an actual glass shader, right? Which actually that's what we did in the previous tutorial. The tutorial before that one, we did we modeled this glass over here. I put this sphere over here, and you'll see exactly why. Just literally shift a mesh UV sphere. Alright, and then right click, shade smooth. Alright, or else you can also add on a subdivision modifier. Yes, and just crank it up a bit. But I just did the shading smooth. Alright, so let's get into here, into my render preview to see exactly what this glass looks like. And you can see it looks really awesome, really good. I'm impressed. I like this. You can see on my floor here, I just added a brick texture and said change the width over there, and I added in a HDRI, which I got off I think it's yes, I don't want to give the site because I could be giving the wrong site right now, but anyway, so there is my glass texture. Now there was something that I battled with at first, and I think that would help everyone else out right there. So if the effect that you basically got looked like, let's quickly see, where is this mesh normals? I'm looking for, there it is, normals, flip normals. Because at first within my render I got something looking like this. Okay, and you can sort of understand, you're like, okay, yeah, look, it's different now. On the edges it's reflective, in the middle it's transparent, but has anyone seen a glass looking like this? And then of course the thing that puzzled me as well was that my sphere over here, which is what it's helping me with, is to have a better sort of look at my texture, did not look like that. All right, and right, so from what you saw me do now, that should have, sort of given you the fix. So if you are getting a result like that, just simply select all your faces, everything. All right, how did I do that? So I went into face select mode right over here, and then I go into edit mode. So first of all, my apologies, select the glass, hit tab, make sure you're in face selection mode, press A for all, and that selects all of the faces on the glass, including the ones that you might be hard to reach. Go to mesh, go to normals, say flip normals. It's going to flip them. I can press tab again to get out of edit mode, and you will see there is your glass. I was very happy to get this. You can even see how it's just looking really so good. So happy with this. I used the principal BSDF, pushed the transmission to 1, brought down the roughness to 0, and there you go. Bob was my uncle. Okay, so that's done. But now there's this thing called dispersion, because if you have a look over here, no, it's not here, it's under my render. My apologies. My caustics are for my reflective and refraction, right, are on, I've unticked them. They are ticked by default. The reason being is because I'm finding these to be really noisy. I'm going to show you a method on doing this in a way that it's not so, that it's a lot less noisy. And as I spoke about in my previous tutorial, if you have a look over here, under my render settings, I go into my denoising, and I've got it on my viewport, therefore giving me a quicker, cleaner render a lot more faster. So I'm going to go ahead and pause that. Right, so the first thing is that we're going to fake something called dispersion. Something called dispersion. And what dispersion does is that I'm sure you have all seen this thing whereby light goes in the one side of glass, and then on the other end you've got this you got the light sort of refracting off the other side. Okay, and you often do get that with glass, and so we can sort of fake that, but not in a way that it's like overused. It's quite light. All right, so the first thing that we're going to look at here is adding in something called our wavelength. Right, now what wavelength basically is right, by the way, I'm pausing and playing I'm pausing my render here just while I'm busy, so have a look out for that, because you might pause it and then when you try and zoom in it completely pauses your viewport completely. Right, so what your wavelength is that this is your different colors. So starting at 500, there's a slight tint in there. If I go to 780, all right, you can see that slight blue in there, right? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my guinea pig right over here. That's what we've got this for. Okay, so having it selected, let's go again, wavelength, plug it in, and you can see how it's green. Oh, you know what? They're both the same color. But anyway, I think you can see more over here. So depending on what, you can almost call it the frequency of a color, because colors have different frequencies. So that's what wavelength basically does. All right, 500. It's green. Let's see, 1000. You can't really see the color too much, right? But we're gonna go 780. All right, and so that's what wavelength does. But of course, we only want the color at specific areas, correct? All right. So what we're able to do is add this guy in here, which we learned about last week, which is called. Oops, I added a script node. I can add something called, which we learned about, called Fresnel. And we can allow Fresnel to be the factor of where to place it, right? Now, how does Fresnel work? Fresnel works, I spoke about it in my previous tutorial. If you want to know more about it, go check it out, where I actually go through different ways of actually shading your texture. So I'm going to plug that into here, let that be the decision on where to place them. Then what I'm simply going to do here is I'm then going to put in a multiply. No, sorry, I get that from a math node. I'm going to plug in this math node over here. And this math node, I'm going to set to multiply. I'm going to plug that into the top over here, and over here, and my bottom value I'm going to place at 780. Right, so that's then giving me that value of that color. All right, very good. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is I'm then going to add in is it a mix shader? Yes, my mix shader. And what my mix shader is going to do, right, because if I just plug this straight into here, that's what I get. All right, it's a problem. Okay, not a mix shader. I'm going to tell you now, because I still want to make, well, I suppose I could if I wanted to add in a mix RGB. I'm going to add in a mix RGB so that I can, because obviously with glass, what is glass? Glass has got this transparent base color. So what we want to do is that we want to still get that base texture color, and we want to apply my wavelength on the area where the Fresnel is, right? So let's plug this guy into the bottom here, and I'm going to plug this. I'm going to plug my color then into my base color, and that's what it does. And then, because obviously, and you can see it's gray now because, well, the fact is that we're mixing half and half. Alright, so what can we do? And for those who have been paying attention, I am then able to then make the factor my Fresnel over there. Now, and then, yes, please make sure that your color is completely white. There you go. Now, at first, you're not really going to see it. I don't know if you can see, there is just a slight bit of a blue tint. If I were to zoom in, obviously now as it's rendering, it's going to need to do quite a bit of rendering at first to get for you to actually see the dispersion quite clearly. The more it renders, because obviously, like I said, you don't want it to be obvious because it's not that obvious, but it does the little bit that it does add in does factor towards the photorealism of your glass. All right. There actually is a bit of a tint in there. I don't know if you can see it. If I go down to my glass now, let's see if we can see anything. But if I had to do a full proper render, it's definitely you're going to see it. All right. And let's see if we see anything here. It's one of those things where you say you see it, you don't really see it, but it's there. And just in it being there adds on to the realism of your render. Alright. Okay, so the only thing that is missing now, let me add in my liquid here so we can get a nice clear look at what my glass looks like. The only thing that is missing here is the caustics, and also what we need to do is that we need this liquid over here shaded in. So we're going to look at that next week, guys. That was adding in dispersion. We'll add in caustics to get a real good photorealism on glass. I know that this has blessed you as much as it's blessed me in terms of glass. And even learning about these different nodes over here and Fresnel would have helped you a heck of a lot. So guys, until our next tutorial, see you then. Cheers. It's all about